Welcome to Star Trek Theory, where we look at ideas, theories, and speculation in all things Star Trek. And Discovery is back with Season 3, and the crew have traveled 1,000 years into the future. There's been 3 episodes so far, and there's definitely a lot of interesting things going on, but none more mysterious in my opinion than the new character, Book.
You believe in ghosts?
What does that mean?
He's a bit of a rogue with a cool ship and some strange, almost magical powers. But who is he? And how's he going to fit into the story? So here are 3 ideas about who Book could be. And though we still don't have that much information, and it's hard to tell for sure, but one thing that immediately comes to mind is perhaps they're trying to tie together the 2 series, Picard and Discovery, in which case Book could be a synthetic. Because if we project the events in Picard out another few hundred years, then the question becomes what actually happened to those new group of synthetics that we see in Season 1 of Picard? Did they continue to evolve and did they become a new species or a new group with Picard leading them? Or did they just become further ostracized in society and actually became hostile towards the organics? Was there even perhaps a synthetic-organic conflict or war that's happened in the intervening years? So what if Book is actually a descendant of one of those Picard synthetics? And there's definitely a few clues which could suggest that, because he talks about his people in a way that makes us think that they are separate from the others, almost perhaps fundamentally different.
My family are killers, poachers. Every so often, one like me shows up in the gene pool. I don't know, something to do with balance, I guess.
Is that because he's actually a synthetic, and so he's different to organics? Of course, there's also the new cat, which could be a wink and a nod back to Data and Spot. Could this be a little Easter egg that the producers are trying to tell us that he's a synthetic? And then, of course, there's the otherworldly powers, which to me looks like something is happening underneath his skin, which would make a bit more sense if he was synthetic and he's turning on some kind of powers underneath his skin. Who knows what kind of technology he could have, which could give him these almost magical powers, which in a way could mimic the device we see in Picard Season 1, which again had the almost magical power. And of course, the thing that he grows is a flower. So could this be the ultimate nod back to the space flowers in Picard? It seems like his powers put him more in touch with nature in general, and if he is a synthetic, then it definitely seems his purpose is to find and protect endangered organic species. Could this be because of some kind of guilt about something which has happened in the past with the synthetics and the organics having a huge conflict? He himself talks about being one of the only peaceful versions of his kind.
Do you still see them?
I'm not welcome.
The second possibility for Book requires a bit more imagination, but it could also be an interesting idea, because in all the episodes so far we've seen many species, but we've never seen a Klingon. It's a bit of a crazy idea, but could it be possible that he's a future Klingon that have not only lost their ridges, but they have this technology underneath their forehead in the shape of the ridges? He not only has the ridge shapes, but he also speaks in a language which sounds somewhat like Klingon. So who knows what's happened in the last few hundred years to the Klingons? Anything could be possible. But we know for sure from Enterprise, at least, that they're experimenting with augment genetics. So maybe they've just taken that a lot further in the last few hundred years. While this idea doesn't really seem obvious at first, it could actually be an interesting way for the producers to tie it together to Discovery Season 1 and the Klingon orcs, with them finally explaining that the orcs were part of that mutation and genetic experiments, like we theorized in our last video. But either way, it's just a fun idea to project what could happen to any species 1,000 years from now. They could be totally different to the way we think of them now. It definitely puts what he says about his species in a different light, if you imagine he's talking about Klingons.
My family are killers, poachers. Every so often, one like me shows up in the gene pool. I don't know, something to do with balance, I guess.
And the last idea takes a completely different perspective. If we imagine that maybe Book could be the same species as Gary 7. It's kind of an interesting one to think about, and it seems like Gary 7 himself came from the future and he had a lot of knowledge about future events.
Commanding.
Yes, I heard MI6. On board a space vessel. From what planet?
Earth.
That's impossible. In this time period, there weren't... Humans were the Vulcan. You're from the future, Captain.
So is it possible that Gary 7 came from around the same time period that Book is in? It seems that Gary 7's group was secretive even in the future. Book himself, even though he claims not to know much, actually seems to know a lot more about history than he lets on.
You believe in ghosts?
Is it possible that the Gary 7s were one of the factions in the Time Wars, who are somehow secretly keeping the time technology active despite the ban on time travel?
Time traveler.
Yeah.
I figured. Don't know how you came by whatever you used to get here. All time travel technology was destroyed after the temporal wars. Outlawed.
There was no other way.
Again, he has the cat. To me, the cat is the biggest clue. Could the cat be the same as that cat we saw in Gary 7? Some kind of shapeshifter in disguise.
You have a very large cat.
Yes. She has a thyroid condition.
Does she have a name?
Grudge.
Because...
She's heavy. And all mine.
And he even refers to the cat as his queen.
Keep her name out of your mouth, Cosmo. She's a queen.
So there we have it, 3 very different ideas. Which one do you think makes the most sense? Either way, whoever Book is, I feel that the name is deliberate, because you can never judge a book by its cover. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Who do you think Book is? Is he even going to be important to the story? And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe for more ideas, theories, and speculation videos on all things Star Trek. So thanks for watching, and Trek on.